hate being on camera, so this is kind of hard for me to do. But there are a lot of people that are asking a lot of questions about the nanny cam video and how we found her, and a lot of people actually being really hateful, saying that we need to be more careful of who we let watch our children, and that they would have never let somebody that they didn't know watch their kids. That's not the case, and a lot of people think that if they had been in our shoes, that the first thing that they would have done is beat the nanny's ass. As much as we wanted to, the last thing on my mind was the nanny. Whenever we saw the video, all I could think about was, I need my kids to be safe. I don't want to put them in harm's way in any way. I didn't want to message her and let her know, hey, what you're doing is fucking wrong. Please get out of my house. Because I didn't know what she was capable of, and I didn't know if she would harm my children more by being caught. So we just sent my mother-in-law while we were speeding home, and I was still recording it, so I didn't want Max to be on the phone for long, so he didn't really tell her what was going on. He just called her and said, hey, it's an emergency. I just need you to go to the house, to send the nanny home, and just sit there until we get there. And she didn't ask any questions. She was just like, okay. And she came here and sent the nanny home. And by the time that had all went down, the nanny had already put, stop calling her that. Lauren had already put my kids to bed. And unfortunately, the abuse that was in the high chair was only a small clip of it. It continued on. She ended up shoving him into his bedroom and throwing his blanket at him and closing the door and leaving him to cry himself to sleep. It was devastating. When we got home, the immediate thing that I did was walked upstairs and grabbed my child while Max showed his mom the video of what was going on. And I laid with him and held him, and we just gave him a lot of love. Let him stay up late with us for a little bit, and then ended up putting him back to sleep. I will continue this on to the next one. I'm going to actually just answer some of the questions that I've been getting asked a lot, and that I was asked by the reporters. I feel like that'll answer a lot of things for people. Yes, Lauren was verified by care.com. When we brought her in, we found her on a Newburn Moms Facebook page, and she had been highly recommended by several moms, and that's kind of not necessarily for nannying, because she hadn't been a nanny out here before. She's from California. She just moved here during the pandemic. But she was highly recommended because during the summer she did swim coaching for infants. So 3-month-olds and even younger. She taught them how to swim and how to basically save their life, which is interesting to me because I'm like, what? So, anyways. So we found her there, and then I did a bunch of investigating on her Facebook pages to make sure she was a regular person, which she seemed like it. She seemed perfect. I mean, she liked to do art. She liked music. She was very peace, love, happiness. She did not seem like the kind of person that would ever even lose their patience with a child. So we brought her in for an interview, and she did say that she was on care.com, and she said that she was CPR certified, and we let her know immediately off the bat, I have cameras in every single room. A lot of people told me that was a bad idea to tell her, but my response to that was, I don't want my child to have to go through anything traumatic to be able to catch her doing something. I want her to know not to do something, which clearly she just thought that what she was doing was okay. She thought that we would just be okay with it. which that's kind of sadistic. So then we had the interview or whatever. We let her play with the kids, and come to find out she had worked as a temp at our the preschool that the child care toddler preschool that my child goes to, that Declan goes to, on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning for a few hours. And she ended up not working out for them because she told us that they didn't hire her since she lives with her boyfriend and they're not married. It's a very religious preschool, which I had no issue with that being a thing, because we are not necessarily religious. On to the next. So she worked for the preschool as a temp, okay, so anyways, she stayed and played with the boys. She was like, yeah, I know Declan, I worked at the preschool, they didn't hire me because I live with my boyfriend and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh wow. So I actually ended up reaching out to the preschool, my child's teacher. Her name is Miss Amy, and I was like, hey, this chick worked for y'all, and I just want to make sure that she didn't not work out for any specific reason. And they were like, yeah, no, she was great with the kids. I'm not 100% sure as to why she didn't fit the criteria. That is something you need to talk to the director about. And I never got a hold of the director because the director didn't really work with her. But anyways, either way, she also had mentioned the care.com or whatever. So I verified her on care.com. Me and my husband talked about it. We talked long and hard about it. I've been with my kids since they were born. I never wanted to put them in childcare. I didn't trust anybody with them. The only person that had ever really watched them was very close friends of mine, and that just recently happened. There was only 2 people that have watched him outside of grandparents, and it's terrifying to think about. So anyways, it didn't come lightly. It wasn't a decision we made lightly. We checked all of our references. We double checked. We talked about it. And the first few days that she worked for us, I watched my cameras 100%. The whole time we were working at the bar, I had my phone up so I could watch the cameras, because I didn't trust. And yeah, I have cameras in every single room in my house. She knew that. We told her that at the interview. I told her I have cameras in every single room in my house, and I watch them religiously, and that's no lie. Even whenever I go to the store, I watch my cameras. So, yeah, that was one of the questions, is how we verified her and how we came about meeting her and stuff. Another question that we've been getting a lot is my other son, my 1-year-old, if he had been affected by any of this. We looked back through our cameras, and I don't see that he's not as combative as Declan is. And I don't say that Declan's combative, or everybody's trying to call him a brat. He's not a brat. He's he's a very, very sweet child. And yeah, anyways, but Chris is only 1, and he basically will cry if you do something that he doesn't like, and then he'll cry until you do something he does like. He doesn't really fight anything. So I don't think that she really had a problem with him at all. I checked the cameras the few times that she did watch them. I checked them, rewind and looked at them, and I couldn't find anything. So and I also didn't find any bruises or anything on Chris, so I'm not sure if she just lost her patience or how that went about. And then another thing is, people are saying that she, at the beginning, her family was saying that my child was malnutritioned. My child is not malnutritioned. My kids eat so much, and my 1-year-old his nickname is Chunky Boy, because he literally just walks around and eats, because they have access to food. They have this, I'll show you. don't come for me for my pantry, because I am not one of those organizing people. I am too damn busy for that life. So anyways, this is a bin that they will come into our pantry. They know how to open the door, so they just open the door. They walk in here whenever they're hungry, and they will grab themselves a snack. We have veggie chips. We have peanut butter crackers, the Juicy Bursts. They have muffins, these Fruity Pebble Crisps, which are new because we saw them and thought they would like them. Let's see. We got cheese crackers. We got some Doritos and some Graham Grips and Muddy Buddies. And basically, they just have a whole bunch of snacks. And I refill this all the time because I also have a 10-year-old who eats too much. And then if you come in here, you can see that, one, I have the strawberries up here, but they're normally down there. And then his peaches are normally down there. My husband must have put them up there and not put them back. But that was their grapes from earlier. Those are the extras. And this is a drawer that Declan can get into. He opens the door. He'll come over here. He'll grab himself some Danimals. Or he'll grab applesauce. Or pepperonis. Or normally we'll have like cheese sticks and stuff in here as well. And then their favorite thing ever are grapes, and they like them on the vine, which is crazy. But anyways, they will come in here and they'll grab a vine of grapes and they'll take it to the table and pick them off and eat them. Don't come for me on not cutting my grapes up because they don't choke on them, so I think we're good. And for reference, this is my camera. See it? Very obvious. And this is where she had Declan. Ignore the food. They just ate dinner. I just put them down for bed. That is Declan's chair. That is his booster seat. That's where he sits for dinner. And then this is my 1-year-old's chair. This is where he sits for dinner. Okay? When I first pulled up the camera, and I heard her yelling at Declan, and so I turned the camera, because if you have an Easy Viz, you know that you can like turn them, and it was facing towards the front door. So I turned the camera, and whenever I did that, I saw her yelling at him while he was in his booster seat. And so I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And I'm watching for a second. I'm like, why is she yelling at him? And she's trying to force feed him with a fork a piece of chicken. Just one piece. There was one piece of chicken and maybe 6 peas and carrots on that plate. So she's trying to force feed him that. And then she picks him up by his wrists. And that's whenever we were running out of the bar and frantically trying to find somebody to come get my kids. So, she grabs him by his wrists and lifts him out of the chair and says, if you want to act like a baby, you can sit in the baby chair. You don't need to sit in a big kid's chair if you can't act like a big kid. She sticks him in the baby chair and pulls his ankles out from underneath him so that he falls down into the baby chair. And then you saw the video. So that's kind of how it went after she starts like attacking him, basically telling him that he needs to eat his food. Then after that, she continues on, and she basically like flaunts that Chris is a good boy and that he gets to play with all his toys because he ate and blah blah blah. And then she puts them to bed, where she throws my son into his room with his blanket, and I've already talked about that. So I also feel like it needs to be made clear that this nanny, Lauren, did not watch our children for like weeks and weeks and weeks on end. She probably watched our kids like 6 times. Maybe 7. 7th would be the day that like we caught her doing this. Which brings me to my next point. All of you that were saying that the reason that he threw that toy at Max's head was because he learned that from the nanny. No, he didn't. He was just learning how to throw a ball. And so he didn't know yet. He also wasn't even 2 years old in that video. He was like a little older than 1, which is why Chris is in a walker, because he wasn't walking yet. Which also, for people who say that I don't discipline my child, if you would watch that video all the way to the end, you can tell that I tell him he needs to go say sorry because that was not okay. We don't throw. And he went and he gave his daddy a hug and said, I'm sorry. We discipline our kids. As for Declan, he seems fine. He seems okay. I did notice that when he hears the video being played, even if he doesn't see it, he'll say, no, 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 oh no, and then he'll go and hide, like under a table, or he'll snuggle up in his face into me, or whatever. But and that all started whenever we played the video for the police officers, because obviously it's a really hard video to watch. I can honestly say I've only watched it all the way through one time, and that's whenever I saw it. So whenever the police officers were watching it, he hid underneath the table and was saying, oh no, 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 oh no, and getting upset. Also, it's important to add that on Monday, this all happened on Tuesday. So on Monday, when she walked in, my kids got excited. Like, they were like, yay, blah, blah, blah. And they all started playing on the floor. And that was probably the first time that we were ever able to just, like, walk out the door without the kids screaming, wanting us to stay because they're not used to me not being around. So, again, seemed perfectly normal. Seemed like a good nanny. Seemed like a very good fit for our family. And even looking back on it right now, like, thinking about it, I wanted to beat her ass so bad. As for what happened after all that, the boys had reservations to go to the aquarium the next morning, and I didn't want to take that away from them. So the next morning, we got them ready, we took them to the aquarium, and then afterwards we came home and let them have their nap. Once Declan woke up from his nap, we took him to the police station. And when we took him to the police station, that's whenever we had to show them the video and everything. And within it was probably 20 minutes being in there, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to take this video to the magistrate's office. I'm going to get my warrant, and I'm going to go pick her up. And I'm like, I didn't even know that is what blows my mind, is that I am a mother, and I never knew that you could actually file charges for child abuse on another person. And I think that's very important that everybody needs to know that, because otherwise there's probably people walking around everywhere that were caught abusing a child and got their ass beat, or just got let go and fired and on their merry way to go mess up the next kid's life, and it's because we're not aware that this is something that you can do. Like, your child is being abused, and even if it's like verbally abused, take it to the police station anyways, because what's the worst that can happen? They can tell you this doesn't count as abuse, and then you just blow it up on Facebook because nobody wants their kids yelled at, okay? So within a few hours, I honestly, with New Bern Police, I was just like, oh yeah, we're not gonna hear anything back for like a couple days. I didn't think anything of it. That's actually when the Facebook video started blowing up, and the cop called me probably an hour or two after I left there and was like, hey, I need to come by and verify that this is the Lauren Rowe that was your nanny so that I can go up to the magistrate's office. And I'm like, okay. So he stops by, he gets the picture. Within minutes, we're given a phone call, hey, I have the warrant. We went to serve the warrant and pick her up, but she wasn't there. She's not cooperating, this, that, and the third. So we will keep you updated. We are going to continue throughout the night to try to pick her up. And I'm like, oh shit, are the police doing their job right now? What? We don't have very good luck with the cops out here. Apparently we got a good one. The next morning, I woke up, I go out to the living room, I'm obviously all over my kids, and we get a knock at the door, and it's the cop. And he's like, we picked her up at midnight, but she bailed out in 27 minutes. Now, this is whenever most of the people who have been following the story were like, that is not okay. She needed to be in there longer. The bail needed to be way higher. I understand that, and that was my initial thought. But then after I got to sit on it for a minute and really think about it, I'm like, I did the right thing. I was an adult. I took everything to the police station. I let them legally handle it. Her address is out there everywhere right now. Her social media is everywhere. Her family's getting death threats. Like, it's blown up. People know her social by this point, I'm sure. So, I'm not mad about it. I am not mad that she got out on a $2,500 bond in 27 minutes, because that means that she's in New Bern somewhere. And that means that all these people that are angry are still angry. And who knows what happens between here and November 8th. As long as you don't tell me or involve me in it, I am free and clear, okay? When the cop came to tell me that he had, that they had picked her up overnight and that she had gotten out in 27 minutes and all that, he also told me that that the DA's office and stuff would be reaching out to me for additional footage, because I think they're trying to push for it to be a felony instead of a misdemeanor case of child abuse. And that's why I was very happy when all this stuff started blowing up, and that's actually why I posted the video on TikTok, is so that it would blow up even more, because I feel like the more this is worldwide known and talked about, that more likely they would press higher charges and do that. Like, they would fully commit to making an example out of this woman. And I don't know if you've heard about this part yet, but she was supposed to start this next week watching a 12-week-old baby, and she had told us that, and I was like, hey, no, we're completely flexible. Like, it's completely fine if you start working for her during the day. You know, we normally will just need you during the night, just until like 9 o'clock at night or whatever. Because we're working on the bar, so we can really work on the bar whenever. We just need somebody to watch our kids so we can go work on the bar. So I reached out to that mom and I was like, hey, actually I reached out to a lot of moms because I didn't know who it was. So I reached out to a lot of people that were on the same thread as me on that New Bern Moms page. And I finally found her and I was like, this is a video from like how she treated my child tonight. And this is before it went anywhere. Like, the video had not been seen by anybody yet. And when I say that this mom called me and was like, I thought it was fake. I thought that video was fake. That's crazy, until I saw her face. She says, until I saw her face, I did not think that that was her. And I said, yeah, no, I don't understand what happened. Like, she seemed completely normal and okay, and like, this is just crazy to me. And she was like, yeah, when she came to my house, I didn't see anything wrong with her. She seemed like a great person. Weird. So anyways, then she proceeded to call this mom after everything started going on Facebook and was like, hey, there's this video going around Facebook right now, and I just want you to know my side of things. The child needs to know that there's more to eat than just cookies. Every child's gonna ask for cookies, woman. Everyone. Every single child you meet will say, cookies? If he sees cookies. You just have to be like, no, you can't have cookies. Not freaking hard. Anyways, and that's whenever she went on to say the child was malnutrition and we just weren't on the same page, me and the parents. No shit. I wasn't gonna tell you to fucking stick food in my child's mouth and try to kill him. I definitely wouldn't have said that. I would have said, let him graze. Let him eat what he fucking wants to. Anyways, mom basically like told her off. She kept on trying to get off the phone. Lauren kept on trying to make excuses as to why it all happened, and the mom was like, it's like black and white, right? Actually in color, very clear on a video what you did, and I'm not okay with it, and you will not be working for me. And all I can think, like, whenever I think about that, yes, my heart fucking hurts for my child. Hurts. But I cannot imagine if she would have started watching that 12-week-old baby and lost her patience with it. Anybody who has kids knows that a 12-week-old baby can have colic. They are very demanding. Whenever you're hungover or sad or just really stressed out, didn't sleep well, they can press your buttons. I cannot imagine what she would have done to that baby. You know, I mean, it's really still, I think I'm still in shock from the whole thing. Because, like, you never think it's going to be you. And you never think it's going to be your child. So, yeah. And we didn't really even get, like, a minute to like, soak it in and be with our kid, because immediately after it happened, we went to the aquarium, then the police station, and the next morning the cop was here, and then boom, reporters. Sure, I jumped around a lot in that, and it's just been very scatterbrained with the whole thing. I've just been asked so many questions, and I haven't really been replying to anybody. My husband hasn't replied to literally anybody, just because it's overwhelming. Like, honestly, it's very overwhelming. But if you have any questions that I did not answer, just put them in the comments and I will gladly answer them. I may look like crap, but I'll answer them for you. As for all the people who have been asking to get Declan a toy, or if he has an Amazon wish list, he does, but the wish list mainly has like things for his new room and stuff on it. He's got so many toys. They have so many toys. So what we normally do, even for holidays, is we just get money and take them to like the zoo and the aquarium, and we plan on going to Legoland in February, and just to do fun stuff like that, because Declan loves going places. So yeah, so I'm gonna link a GoFundMe account into the bio for anybody who does want to donate to taking Declan to do fun things. This is not saying that you have to, or we are requiring you to. This is honestly just for the people who have been asking and blowing up my inbox trying to do something for Declan. Yeah!
On every continent. 65 million years ago, they all went extinct, and we haven't seen them since. Listen to the song if you want to know more. Some walked on 2 legs, some walked on 4. Some were really big, like the Brachiosaurus. Some were really small, like the Wananosaurus. Some only ate plants, those are herbivores. Some ate each other, like